Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm 71 years old, so it will be very long if I were to introduce myself properly. But let me be quick about it. My name is Christopher Lee. I am 71 years old, and I have been in Cambodia for more than 21 years.
Wow.
Since that time, I have worked in many organizations, including Australian project, UNDP project. But in the last 35 years, I have worked mainly in developing people in Southeast Asia.
Thank you. So, can you tell us something about HDC?
HDC is a local NGO in Cambodia. It is fully registered with the Ministry of Interior. It is also a self-funding organization, which means that we never seek or receive any funding from external donors.
Thank you. So, what does HDC stand for?
HDC stands for Human-Earth Development Center. And the reason why we call ourselves Human Earth Development Center is because we realize that much of the problem that we have in the world, including the climate change and so on, is created because we focus too much on the human and we neglected the earth. So as we say that if we're not part of the solution, we must be part of the problem. So we decided to create an organization that develop human and earth at the same time, not separately.
Wow, it sounds very good. And so, who and when was HDC established?
Well, HDC was established by me in 1999 in Siem Reap. At that time, there's only two persons, myself and another person, Mr. Lim Vanna.
Okay. So, why you create HDC?
As I said, we created HDC basically to provide leadership training, capacity building in leadership. The reason for that is because in those days, in 1999, there is not many organizations that provided training. And at that time, before that, I was working for, like I said, the Australian project and the UNDP. And we hire many training organizations. But the result was not very good, in the sense that after the training, people know what to do, but then they don't do what they know. Around about 4% of people that we train actually did what they know. The rest just go back to the way they were. This is including farmers, including NGO workers.
Okay.
So we start asking questions, and so we developed this organization to help people not only to know but also to do. So when we start doing that, we find we have better results. The other reason for developing HDC is, as I said, at that time there's not many organizations provided training, so we decided to kind of provide a model whereby people either compete or follow the way we do. Yeah? Because as a consultant, sometimes I was quite disappointed and frustrated that many of the training do not produce results.
Okay. So, what is the vision and mission of HDC?
The vision and mission of HDC is very simple. The vision is a proud, peaceful, and prosperous Cambodia. And our mission is to achieve that vision. We want to develop leadership for the future from all levels of society. This means including children, right from children into youth, into adult, and into senior people like ministers, governors, and so on.
Yes.
In fact, the first VIP, the first participant that I have in 1999 was Mr. Chan Sopal. As you know, he is now the governor of Battambang.
Wow, it's so cool.
Yes, it is a privilege.
Yes, and throughout your work in HDC and the training so far, and who are the direct and indirect beneficiaries of HDC?
As I said, the direct beneficiaries is the Cambodian people of all levels of society, from children. We also train street children, we train orphan, we train female-headed household, right up to the ministries and the Senate.
Does HDC work outside Cambodia?
Let me go back, talk about the indirect. Yeah, the indirect beneficiaries of our capacity building program, of course, companies, organization, department, and ultimately it is Cambodia itself.
Yes. And so, is it HDC works outside Cambodia as well?
Originally, we intended HDC only to work within Cambodia, but then as we grow, people start to take notice, and now we have conducted training in Myanmar, in Laos, in Thailand, in Indonesia, in the Philippines, in Malaysia, also in Singapore.
Wow, it sounds wonderful.
Yes, I think we're very fortunate to have that.
Yes. So, what kind of service that HDC provide?
There are three group of services that we did. We do actually. One, which is 80% of our activities, is to do with capacity building, training, in other words. The second one is provided facilitation service to organizations, often the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and embassies to facilitate workshop and team building and retreat and so on, and including also conflict management. The third group of training, the third group of services is consultancy. So we provide consultancy in implementation of project and also in survey, but we focus mainly on social survey rather than market survey or technical survey.
Okay. According to your answer, according to your response, why you focus on the training 80%? You see something that it needed? Or?
It is based on demand. So most of the demand for our services is on training, on capacity building.
So what kind of training that you provide? HDC. Yeah. What kind of the training that HDC provide to the public?
One of the most wonderful proverb in Cambodia is that to plant a tree, one of the most wonderful proverb in Cambodia is to plant tree, take care of the root. To develop people, you have to nurture their character. So most of our training, which is leadership training, is focused on developing person character. We can call it personal empowerment if you like. So in this sense, we look at what is the key role of leaders. The key role of leaders is, first, leaders must have certain character and integrity. So that we focus on that. We call this operacy course. Okay. Then we have cooperacy, which is basically transformational leadership. This is when we look at the role of leaders, there are 4 key roles. Number 1 is to set direction for the rest of the community, the rest of the people. This is by planning, setting vision, mission, goals, and so on. And now, so we have to do this in participatory process because Cambodia is a democratic country. So the process must be participatory. Right? And also participatory means people are involved. By being involved, they have ownership and commitment. Right? Number 2 is the role of leaders is to move people in the same direction toward achieving the vision and the mission and the goal. So this is aligning people. We do this by communicating and facilitating people. So the number 3 role is empowering people, building their capacity and capability as well as to motivate people to do the right thing. Lastly, it is the conflict management and resolution because it doesn't matter how good we are, when people work together, different people work together, they always conflict. So if there is conflict, then success becomes difficult to achieve. So one of the most important role of a leader is to make people work together, but at the same time make people work together in harmony. So one of the skills that leadership must have is to be able to manage and resolve conflict quickly.
Okay. So why HDC focus on leadership?
It is focused in leadership because, in my work before as a consultant, in development, the question that keep always coming up is, how can we make our project or our organization sustainable? To me, there's only one way to do that, leadership. Without leadership, there is no sustainability. So because the role of a leader is to create other leaders, and that leader create other leaders. So that is where sustainability comes.
I see. So in your leadership training, I just heard about operasi. What does operasi mean, and or why you create this kind of operasi training?
Like I said, in many training that and many trainers that we actually engage to support our project, much of the training created knowledge in the participant, but do not create action. Another way to put it is that after the training, they know what to do, but they did not do what they know. So operasi was created to solve this problem, so that we try to have people know what to do, but at the same time, they will do what they know. So we research into why people know, but they did not do. And the conclusion is mindset. So operasi is a course to change people's mindset from and limiting belief.
From the established in 1999 until now, what is the achievement of HDC so far?
We have been very fortunate that our training have received not only recognition but credibility among not only among the public but among ministries, among large organizations like the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and many NGO, including Oxfam and Care and Concern and so on. So we were pleased with that. We were quite happy with that.
This kind of HDC have trained a lot,
yes,
including the NGO, international NGO, ministry, private company, and so on. How about how HDC contribute for those who poor, who disabled and disadvantaged and don't have ability to pay for the training? Is it any benefit for them, or they can join the training somewhere?
Before I answer that question, let's go back to your previous question.
Okay.
What is our achievement? We are quite happy that in the last 18 months or so, 18 years, we were quite happy that in the last 18 years since we started HDC, we have probably provided training to more than 300,000 people here in Cambodia alone.
It's a lot.
Yes. This is easy to see because when we do conducting training to people, sometimes there are 300, 400 people at the same time.
Oh, I see.
Much of our training is less than 50, but sometimes we have even close to 1,000 people. Yes.
It's a lot. Yes. So is it any open for cooperation that, for example, like I would like to have the street children or the who doesn't have ability to join? Is it possible for cooperation, or that HDC can cooperate together to provide like special fee or something?
Yes. HDC have a social contribution arm. This is to address the need of people who is least able to pay for the cost of the training, such as street children, orphanage, many monks, and so we created a social contribution arm we call Project Light. So Project Light either work directly to provide training, free training, or training at a very low cost to orphanage and directly to people. But we also has been asked by many organizations to cooperate together. And one notable one is Allianz Pharma. As you know, this is quite a large pharmaceutical company in Cambodia. So Allianz Pharma and HEDC International have cooperated to provide training to many hospitals, including the Prakosamak Hospital in Phnom Penh, the Khmer Russian Friendship Hospital, and lately we have provided training to Pre Katmalia Hospital, the military hospital in Cambodia. Yes.
So is it HDC have a location or the office all in Cambodia or in just Phnom Penh? Or
since the beginning, HEDC remained small. We're quite happy to be small because when we look at excellence, I'm not saying HEDC is excellent yet. But to be excellent, it's difficult to be excellent when we become big. So for example, if you look at the most excellent prasad in Cambodia, it's not the big one. It is the smallest one, which is Prasad Bante Srey. It is because it's so difficult to be excellent, right? So we were concerned that if we become too big, we cannot maintain the quality that we want. So we were happy to keep it quite small. And so by keeping small, we can maintain quality throughout. So to answer your question, we would like to have centers in every province. And certainly it is our intention to provide training to every part of Cambodia. We have done, say, for example, operacy training. We have conducted operacy training to all provinces of Cambodia except one. That's probably here. That's our next target. So no, we don't have a center in everything. So our main center is in Phnom Penh right now.
So I heard that HDC also would like to have cooperation with NGO in each province as well, right?
Yes.
So is it any possible to open for cooperation, something like that?
Yes, in fact, HDC started by doing that, you know. So we were working mainly in Siem Reap, Bante Minche, and Udom Minche, and Battambang. In those days, there are a lot of NGOs, and many NGOs was quite small, and they cannot afford to have a group training. Okay? So what we did is that this NGO promote the training. You know, they invited all the other NGOs around to send their team, and they pay. And the NGO themselves, they don't pay, so they can have free training. So this is kind of a win-win, you know. We win and win-win-win basically. The NGO win because they have reasonably cost training, and the NGO that organize the training, they have free training for their staff, and we win because we also have to eat.